The night wind sweeps across fields that have just been torn apart. The fresh tracks and the still moist soil reveal that the wild boars passed through not long ago. In Texas, these feral hogs are notoriously difficult to control. They're strong, omnivorous, travel in groups, and reproduce rapidly. Just one night of letting down your guard can be enough for an entire season's harvest to be destroyed. That is why tonight, we are here to set traps and take proactive measures to control them before the damage spreads even further. Two traps are set several hundred meters apart in an open woodland in Texas, right beside the fields that have been torn up over the past several days. We are in no hurry. We know that with the scent of food leading the way, following their natural feeding habits, the wild boars will come. Night falls quickly. Close to midnight, the first trap suddenly slams shut. The sharp clang of metal echoes through the quiet night. Inside, the trapped wild boar reacts violently during the first few minutes. It charges around the cage, desperately searching for a way out. But before long, its survival instincts take over. It realizes that struggling will only drain its strength. The animal gradually becomes still, conserving its energy while watching its surroundings. That same night, we receive word from our teammates that the second trap nearby has also been triggered. Another wild boar has been captured. The following morning, as we inspect the trap, we find a large wild boar standing before us, powerfully built and incredibly strong. Just looking at the marks surrounding the trap is enough to understand how hard it fought to escape during the night. But this method is clearly proving effective, and this is only the beginning. After the first night, we decide to change our strategy to increase our success. Larger traps are moved into position, ones capable of capturing an entire sounder at once. Because if we catch them one by one, the rest of the group will become much more cautious. Just as expected, everything happens much faster on the second night. On the surveillance camera, a group of wild boars appears, a sow followed by a large litter of piglets. They calmly feed along the bait trail we have laid out and slowly make their way deeper into the trap. Just a few minutes later, the entire group is inside. The trap door suddenly crashes shut. Bang! The group immediately falls into chaos. The sound of metal crashing against metal echoes through the quiet Texas night. But the trap is completely sealed. There is no escape. Success. The next morning, we are greeted by the sight of an entire group of wild boars inside the trap. The sow and all of her young are safely contained. Even so, we know that a few faster ones managed to turn back into the forest. And the story is far from over. After 2 nights, we have gained a much clearer understanding of the remaining group's travel routes. Wild boars have one very obvious weakness. They are incredibly driven by food. If the food is placed in the right location, they will return. So we continue monitoring them through surveillance cameras and identify the familiar trails they regularly use. The final 2 traps are placed directly along those routes. On the monitor, movement appears quite late in the night. A smaller group, the survivors from the previous night, slowly approaches the trapping area. They are more cautious. They stop. They sniff the air, they scan their surroundings. But in the end, their instinct to feed pushes them forward. One by one, they walk into the trap. The decisive moment has arrived. From a distance, we press the button. The trap door instantly slams shut. The wild boars scatter in panic inside the enclosure. For a few brief minutes, The atmosphere inside the trap becomes tense and chaotic, but everything is quickly brought under control. The next morning, we return to inspect the traps together. It turns out that David, our teammate, also successfully captured 2 wild boars in the trap on the other side the previous night. Watching them continue to ram the cage in a desperate attempt to escape, we know that our mission for this operation has been accomplished. After 3 consecutive nights of careful tracking and precisely placed traps, our efforts have paid off with remarkable results. This area has finally been brought under control. Even so, we remain fully aware that a few fortunate wild boars are still out there, and this effort is far from over.
It didn't begin in the fields or at the forest edge. It began right inside the working heart of the farm. A herd of wild boars appeared in the very spaces where people carry out their daily lives. What they left behind were overturned tables and chairs, damaged equipment, and a workplace thrown into chaos. And when wild boars grow so accustomed that every time they appear, they walk straight into human workspaces, this is no longer a story about crops. It is a clear sign that the control system has reacted more slowly than the boar's ability to adapt. The moment had come for us, those entrusted with protecting the peace of this land, to act decisively. Shall we go then? The most common mistake in wild boar management is not a lack of tools, but poor timing and flawed execution. Set a trap along the wrong route, trigger it too early, or let even a single animal escape, and the entire herd will remember what happened. From that moment on, they grow more alert, alter their movement patterns, and become willing to push deeper into human spaces. When this happens, any reaction driven by impulse or emotion risks pushing the situation completely out of control. In this situation, the goal is not to chase the animals away, certainly not to cause panic. The top priority is to stop the herd from continuing to access the work area, prevent them from scattering in multiple directions, and avoid creating additional risks for people. The chosen solution is a large coral-style trap integrated with a remote monitoring camera system. This tool allows decisions to be made based on real data, not guesswork. The camera clearly identifies the size of the herd, their approach routes, and the exact moment when the boars are least alert. In wildlife control, accurate information is just as important as the trap itself. Automatic cameras are positioned along multiple approach routes around the trap, covering the entire movement zone of the boar herd. This setup is not about catching more animals. It is about minimizing risk to people. Every decision is based on real-time visual evidence, with no guesswork and no rushed reactions. Only when the entire herd is fully within the safe control zone is the system activated. When the cameras confirm that the entire herd is inside the trap, the system is activated remotely. The automatic drop mechanism seals all exits in an instant, containing the herd within a closed, fully controllable space. No individual panics and escapes. No movement spills over into areas where people live and work. The risk is stopped exactly at the point of intrusion. This is the fundamental difference between technology-based control and traditional manual methods. Instead of relying on a single trap, the system is deployed across multiple strategic points, known travel routes, areas near food sources, and access points close to farm structures. This approach prevents the herd from scattering in multiple directions, reduces pressure on any single trap, and increases overall control of the entire area. It is a long-term control strategy, well suited to farm environments where people live and work on a daily basis.
They're looking.
A single small mistake in trap placement can turn a controlled situation into a serious threat to the entire farm. Once wild boars cross into restricted areas, what matters most is not reacting the fastest, but reacting with precision. Technology, timing, and disciplined decision-making allow risks to be contained responsibly, before people are forced to pay a heavy price. This is not just about controlling wild boars, it is about protecting safety, order, and the daily rhythm of an entire community, effectively and without unnecessary strain on human effort.
Realizing that his old homemade cage traps could no longer handle the growing problem, Nick makes a major investment. He orders a massive next-generation smart cage trap equipped with a remote-controlled automatic triggering system, which is delivered directly to his... However, even the biggest trap is useless without a suitable way to transport capture hogs. Nick begins an ambitious mechanical project, building a specialized wild hog transport trailer from an old trailer frame. For days, the sound of welding echoes through his workshop as sparks fly, while he carefully reinforces the steel frame and welds heavy-duty metal bars into place. The work demands tremendous patience, from welding load-bearing joints to designing a convenient drop gate that allows the hogs to enter the trailer but prevents them from breaking back out. After the final coats of rust-resistant paint are applied, the massive transport trailer is finally complete and ready to roll into the field. Fully equipped with his upgraded gear, Nick begins deploying traps across the hardest-hit areas. Every trap inspection now becomes a moment of anticipation. The first trap, positioned along the forest edge, successfully triggers and captures the first group of destructive intruders. Moving on to the neighboring valley, the second trap delivers another major success by blocking the path of another sounder of wild hogs. As expected, the third trap, placed in a dense grassland area, is also packed with captured hogs, proving just how effective Nick's upgraded trapping system has become. However, no matter how effective cage traps are, there are always a few old, experienced boars that refuse to enter them. To finish the campaign once and for all, Nick shoulders his rifle and teams up with his seasoned hunting dogs to track down the remaining animals. Under the scorching Texas sun, the dogs bark relentlessly as they corner their target. With a single precise shot, Nick brings down the last massive wild hog, completely eliminating the threat to his cornfields. The campaign ends not only with peace restored to the ranch, but also with a well-earned reward on the dinner table. Nick transports all the harvested wild hogs back to the processing area. With a sharp knife and practiced skill, he carefully butchers the animals, separating the finest, leanest cuts of meat, ready to be transformed into delicious meals for family and friends. Taking a refreshing sip of cold beer beside the smoky charcoal grill, Nick gazes across the cornfields that are finally safe once again. The greatest lesson from this campaign is that in the battle against nature, a farmer needs more than strength. Success requires investment, practical engineering, scientific thinking, and self-reliance. Turning a destructive pest into a valuable source of nutritious food is how Texas farmers adapt, survive, and assert their stewardship over the land they call home.